Hi. He's in trouble already. Sorry.
I'm so fucked in this interview. I already know.
Hi.
Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.
Welcome back to our coverage of Indy Popcon 2018, and I'm here with a wonderful Ben Templesmith.
He doesn't know me, clearly.
I know him, and he doesn't think that I know him. He keeps giving me crap all the time. But
You call me wonderful. You don't know me.
I mean, you seem like a wonderful guy.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's...
You don't get to know me, you'll disagree with that statement.
You're
very
Australian,
quickly.
which means you already have a heads up on
It means
most
we have a
people I
brotherhood of
meet.
culture of tea.
Yeah, we're a Commonwealth, right? So that kind of works. in our
Commonwealth
favor.
means nothing.
I mean,
I
thanks
wish it
for
did.
shutting down my hopes and dreams, but sure. Yeah.
I wish it did.
So you asked me. So I before we even started this, I said to you, you said like, what type of questions are you going to ask? And I was kind of like, I don't know, like how did you start drawing and that type of stuff. And you said to me, that's the wrong premise. Why did you stop drawing? And then you said that I should ask you why I stopped drawing, and that you would tell me.
No, I get asked, why do I draw all the time?
I figured you might.
Or like, what started me drawing? And it is the wrong question, because when you're a child, everyone draws, everyone paints, everyone does art.
Very true.
And gradually, everyone stops. Most people stop. And the question is, why do you stop? I just kept doing it. I just kept going, because I liked it.
I was kind of thinking about it,
You guys
yeah.
stop.
I don't really know what made me stop drawing, other than the fact that I don't think I was good. Did you think? When did you know you were good?
No, I didn't know I was
or
good.
Did you
I
not know?
I still don't think I'm good. I just kept going because I like doing it.
But you have to know you're good when people are willing to give you money for it, right? I mean, is that the indicator?
No, that happens later on.
Okay.
You just got to have a proclivity for something and keep going because you like doing something. You know.
So when did you start? Like, what was the actual age? Just like when you were like a baby?
When does child start drawing?
Just scribbling?
Probably before I could remember. At least since I was 4.
Did you go to school for it?
No, I know. I am not actually professionally trained to do art.
Really?
I have a design degree. So I'm in the artistic realm of knowing visual language, but I'm a self-taught artist.
How does
as
one help the other in terms of having a design degree? Like, is it just like knowing how to
know
fill a page, like aesthetically?
It means I know how to put a book together technically, like pre-press, boring shit, make logos,
right.
Make my stuff look a little more professional than some people's stuff, like my banner.
Right. Yeah. No, I dig that a lot.
It's
actually.
Plain.
You know, when
visually that means it stands out.
When I saw that logo, I instantly had twinges of Lovecraft. I'm assuming Lovecraft is this kind of an influence on you?
I didn't actually design the team myself.
Oh, you did not?
A good friend who was a high-end designer designed that for me a while ago.
Okay. But I'm assuming you approved it. You liked it.
Yeah, but then I put
you.
the banner together. The theory being, if you see banners at conventions, most people, especially comic people, they put their name on it, and they put every single drawing they think is ever good on their banner in a crowded thing, and it's a mishmash. And then 20 other people do it.
It's messy.
It all looks the same, and it's a visual garish mess. No one can see. And then I just have my logo with my little name on it.
So you're going with minimalism.
Yeah, but it stands out.
Right.
And that the logic is the same for when you have a comic cover on a comic shelf in a store with a whole bunch of other comics, which are visually very crowded, in-your-face language.
You have a very unique...
it's a theory design thing.
You have a very unique palette with a lot of your drawings as well. I feel like... I don't want to say you stick to like a certain amount of colors, but I feel like most of them have this kind of... Anyway, the comic book ones.
It's warms and cools. It's just tones.
Right. A lot of... Is there like... would you ever be tempted to play with color more, or do you love that style of just meshing that kind of...
That's how I play with color.
That's how
you mean like play with color, like being like traditional comics, which are like very
kind of yeah. Would you ever do that, or is that just not you?
Well, they're very neon, fake color. That's its own style.
Yeah,
and I don't do that style.
But it's not your style.
No.
Do you have a name for your style?
Fucked up. Sorry, peeped up.
No, you can swear all you want on here. We're good.
No, it's in some ways it's more realistic.
Okay.
I call the other traditional coloring now in comics candy coloring.
Yeah, that's a good...
Because outside of a convention where the lights are blaringly white and it's its own bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Most light is tinted into a shade of color. Like, you know, when the sun sets, everything's warm and yellows
Absolutely.
and reds and browns, right? You know, if it's cold in winter, it's shades of blue, you know. So I try to do that in my art. Because that's how the light spectrum is. Anyway.
And that's just when you came across that. Were you
gotta merge it
always?
all.
Have you always done that, or was that something that you kind of
Mostly.
you hit it one day and then you were
Mostly.
like, oh wow, that actually
Mostly.
that feels good.
I'm more accentuated in it, but that's exactly how film is.
right.
You know, The Matrix really kicked it off with, you know,
That's a good point.
you know, the Matrix world is everything's in green, and then in the real
Right.
world everything's has a blue filter on it.
Right.
It's more subtle, but you still notice it. That's all I do.
And we talked
Comics
about.
don't normally do that. A red is a red, and a blue is a blue, and Superman's boring.
I like how everything kind of like. Almost the colors almost mesh together in a lot of your art, and that's
the
what stood
idea.
out to me.
That's the idea.
It was always like it's kind of just flows in and out of each other seamlessly. And when I first saw your work, and I told you this yesterday, it was 10 grand, and you chastised me and said, "Why haven't you read any of my other books?"
Well, that's like
And
halfway through my career at that point.
That was just the one
That's
that
okay.
I
It was
came
a
to.
big book. It was pretty big, but
Yeah.
I didn't do it all of it. But yeah,
It was
a pretty big
with
book.
it was with Image, and Image are a pretty big publisher, and you know.
Well, I was working for Hire on it, so it wasn't really with Image.
Oh well, fair enough.
I mean, Image was the ultimate publisher, and they're the best in town, creator-owned. But I wasn't a creator on it. I was just
Okay.
I was an art monkey
An art monkey.
on that book,
That's beautiful.
which means emotionally I'm not connected to it. I'm just told what to do. Hi, child. How much are you?
All right. How much are you?
Oh, they
Pennywise.
can get expensive these days.
Yeah, I imagine so. Is it cheaper in Australia?
I don't know. I've never bought an Australian child. I have never bought a child yet, but I like asking the parents how much for the child. So,
We had
especially in the Midwest.
Oh yeah, we had we do a lot of cosplay interviews at these cons, and we had a Pennywise here the other day, and we asked him why it was here. It's like not the other day, the other
You
year.
asked them why they were here
We asked him why he was here, and he
at a
said
Comic-Con.
for the children.
Or
And then he there was a little girl that was close by, and he was like coaxing her over, and we had to convince her to run away. This dude was genuinely terrifying, like nothing you've ever seen. Speaking of Pennywise, we caught you drawing something. I know we probably can't show it because it's a commission, but you do a lot of commissions. What are the most popular
I don't give a
commissions that
shit.
you get asked? Oh, God, I love you.
It's not finished.
Look at this. Doesn't give a shit. Right up to the camera, if you wouldn't
Doing it.
mind. Look at that.
It's not finished. It's shit.
So, what is it that you get asked to draw the most as a commission piece?
The most?
Yeah. Or like,
no
or is,
one
there
thing.
is it like horror characters because the style is more like suits
I would
horror,
hope so.
or-
Generally horror.
Yeah. 'Cause I
I'm
saw you
known
with
for
a
horror,
xenomorph
so I would like to
yesterday.
draw horror.
And
People
so-
ask me to draw their pets.
Oh, really?
No, I say no. Because why am I drawing your pet? I'm known for horror comics. Why
Right.
would you want me to draw your fluffy dog Fifi?
Well, maybe they just wanted to see what Fifi would be like if there was an alternate universe
I
where
used-
she was a devil dog.
I used to do it, but it's not my best work. So I
Gotcha.
get me to draw monster things.
You prefer monsters and demons and things like that.
I prefer things that suit my style.
Okay.
I will steer people towards what I could do well.
And we had a chat about Constantine the other day because
Yeah.
I said I had interviewed Matt Ryan last year, and you said that you were not a fan so much of Matt Ryan's work as
I wanted to
Constantine.
like the show.
Right.
Nothing against him, but
He's a nice guy.
you need the proper Cockney. He's Welsh, as we talked about.
He is Welsh, which I
You
learned.
need a proper
yeah.
Cockney actor to do
to do a
John
Cockney.
Constantine.
Yeah.
I wanted to like the show, but it was still like regular TV, and I don't watch regular TV.
What
If
do you
HBO,
watch?
if HBO did Hellblazer, the show, I would watch the beep out of that.
So what? So if you don't watch TV, what do you watch?
I watch TV. I just watch grown-up TV. TV that's not made for children.
Oh, gotcha.
So, and I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I mean I literally watch mature TV. So I'll watch HBO, I'll watch,
Showtime.
Showtime. I'll watch just, Breaking Bad was mature.
Okay.
AMC has some relatively good stuff. I won't watch the shit that like the breaking things with the mentality. People who like the Big Bang Theory, that's not my demographic.
Not your jam.
I'm not them.
Gotcha.
I watch more sophisticated drama, scripted things.
Okay. And what are you watching right now?
I need to watch it, but the next season of The Expanse is what I need to
Okay.
watch. The
I've
third
heard
season.
good things. Yeah.
Everyone watch Game of Thrones. Westworld right now. That's a bit
Big
too
one.
pretentiously cerebral, but I do like it.
Did you like the original movie? The original Westworld?
I saw it years. I haven't really remembered it, honestly.
Right.
I just like the reinterpretation.
I used to watch it with my
It's-
dad
It's
when
from
I
a
was
book
kid,
anyway.
so-
So
Well, yeah, true that. I've been watching Siren. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. Isn't
the
that a
mermaid
movie?
one. Yeah.
I've seen the trailer. I haven't seen
So
it.
it's like mermaids, but it's not My Little Mermaid. It's like mermaids
Oh,
that
no,
will
I've seen-
literally
yeah.
tear you limb from limb if you go
well,
anywhere
traditional
near them.
mermaids.
Yeah, traditional scary mermaids.
Before everything got Disneyfied. Oh, I
Ariel.
loathe Disney that way. Sorry.
Whore.
Well, because they turn the public domain pretty mature, like old fables,
Right.
into children's things.
Right.
But then people don't know the old, actual, real was it the hand? Yeah.
I don't remember what the
Little
original
Mermaid is actually
one
a
was.
pretty
It's a dark
messed
tale.
up story.
I mean, yeah,
It's great.
She loses limbs, like
Yeah,
in not a cutesy way.
Yeah, they're not Disney
Yes.
princesses.
Yeah.
I have a problem with royalty in the first place. So Disney princesses, be elected. I don't believe in hereditary rule.
You're not a fan of the monarchy?
No, I'm actually a Republican. I want an Australian head of state. Sorry.
Not the
I don't
American
believe in
Republican.
No, not an American political
let's
Republican.
clear that up real fast.
More in the Irish Republican model of like, I want not royalty ruling me.
You like the Republic. Like
I
a
don't-
rebel Republic.
I don't have a problem with the Queen or the King or royalty as long as someone can challenge their rule. Like
Gotcha.
Game of Thrones style. Because like, no, I have a better claim. I'm
So-
going to make an army and I'm going to take her over.
You would be up for like beheadings to still be a thing if...
Fuck yeah, well, I'll form an army and I'll challenge them. They don't have to do that anymore, so they're lazy.
That's true. They don't get challenged a whole lot.
No.
It would be interesting.
Well, the real head of the guy, the Queen comes from a
Germany,
tainted bloodline.
largely, yeah.
What's a tainted bloodline? The last of the Plantagenets is actually in Australia. He's an Australian.
Really?
He's a British immigrant to Australia. Yeah. And he's got like a huge family now, but he is the actual rightful king of England.
Wow.
This current family are bullshit. No, Tony Robinson did a show on it.
Did he?
The British Tony
I
Robinson.
like Tony Robinson, so I believe him.
Yeah, he did a whole
to an
show. They
extent.
researched who the actual, like, oh, well, if you actually follow that guy who was real, the legitimate one,
So
because
how
they
do
kind
they
of covered
not-
it up.
How do they not like flip that on its head and like make him the rightful king of England then, since they can prove it in a court of
Because
law?
it's too inconvenient, and he didn't even
Right.
care about it.
Really?
No,
What would you do if you find out you were the king of England?
I would stake my claim.
Exactly.
I want to go to
right?
the House of Lords. I want to be appointed. You can
Yeah.
appoint non-British, like, I'm Commonwealth, I'm
Yeah.
subject. I can be part of that.
We travel with a Canadian as well. I
I'll
don't know
be
where
up
he
there.
is right now, but he's
Yeah.
pretty proud of being in the Commonwealth.
We're all
like,
brothers.
yeah.
Well, we got nothing else anymore. America hates us.
That's true.
Well, they
That's
hate
true.
Canada. They don't hate Australia.
They don't like Canada at all anymore.
Well, one guy
You
doesn't
love us?
like.
Debs likes us.
I love Canada. I love America. I love. I'm eligible to be a citizen, so you know.
So we talked a little bit about your comic books and everything, and then now you
I
were
do
saying
comics.
that your shirt is actually. Do you mind showing the shirt off? Can you like give us a flash? Is that okay? A little bit, just like one side maybe. All right, there you go. So you do fashion too, and you said you've done dresses as
I
well.
jokingly said I'm a fashion designer
You jokingly
because
said
I can
don't
put
think
my
it's a joke.
put my art on dresses, on leggings, on T-shirts, on various things.
I
It's
think it
fun
looks
because you actually
super cool.
design the art to suit a dress. Because
Right.
most shit is clip art, sort of just blopped on, and you can tell they just bought
Right.
a license and they have no idea about the property. And no, I enjoy doing things where my art is worn by people because that is like outside of a tattoo. That's kind of the highest compliment you can get paid is someone is wearing your art.
Right. Absolutely.
Tattoos even beat that, but
I assume you've had one or two people come up to you with a tattoo of your artwork on it before now.
yeah, that's fun. It's nice.
What's the
best
what's
ones
the coolest
though is
one?
when
Yeah.
they want to show off their really great tattoo, and it's kind of really badly done fan art of my character
Oh,
instead
no.
of my actual art itself. It's someone else's interpretation, and it's like kind of amateur. That happened a couple times.
Have you ever told them that
no,
looks
I
shitty?
just smiled and said, "That's fantastic."
That's
just-
great. I like that. Would you ever, if someone handed you a
It's always an
tattoo
honor.
gun and said "Go to town," would you try?
I've done a little bit of on someone once.
Yeah. How'd that go?
And, it was fun.
They still speak
But
to
there's
you.
a whole culture. You can't just tattoo someone. You got to apprentice properly and do that.
Yeah, I
so.
suppose so. Yeah. Can't just jab
I
people
respect
with
that.
needles.
It's a whole culture. It's a
Let's talk about Kickstarter because you did Squitter. And how did you find that whole experience with Kickstarter?
draining.
Draining.
But very rewarding.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time, and I've done every mistake possible with a Kickstarter to know what not to do the next time
Cool.
that I think so far.
So how many times have you
So-
done it total?
Like 4 or 5.
Oh wow. And so now you're
I'm-
like an all pro.
I'm technically wrapped up the last one last week, which
Nice.
was a year overdue.
Are you-
Well, it took an extra like 6 months to print the damn book. So
That always seems to be the proclivity to me. Is just like how do you like you make all these promises and you kind of feel like if I get all this money it's going to be easy enough to do. What was the first most surprising thing to you after you actually got a successful Kickstarter? Like what was the thing like that kicked you in the teeth first and was like oh shit this is not going to be as easy as I thought it was going to be?
oh man, where do I start? I was ripped off in business by about $50,000. I
Oh,
got left
shit.
holding the can on a Kickstarter.
Oh,
Because
no.
one of the biggest costs, it made a lot of money. It was my most successful one. But I actually got left holding the bag on because I didn't get the money. Went to a business account
Okay.
that I was related to, but it wasn't me.
Right.
Even though it said me on the Kickstarter itself. The biggest, outside of printing the book, which is a lot of money, many thousands.
Right.
Shipping a book, if you're doing it yourself, shipping a book from America to Australia, it's $30 or more.
Right.
Easily, because it's about weight, and it gets more and more expensive these days. So shipping, 500 books to times 30,
It's quite a lot.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So all that money got spent, not by me, but that hadn't been done yet, so I had to magically, and I still have to, find the monies to finish off that
Distribute
Kickstarter.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
So people know, they don't care if the book comes out in 3 years' time. I mean, it will be,
I kind of
I'm nearly
assumed
over
that
it.
was going to be in there, like the shipping, because that seems to catch a lot
shipping's
of
the
people
worst.
off guard as far as that.
because it always goes up as well, but most people don't try to calculate it before it happens.
Could you ever tie it
I
to
could
a
write
country?
essays on this shit.
Can you say this Kickstarter's only for Australia?
I wouldn't say it's only for, I'd say it's American only, because I'm American.
Well, then you live here
Domestic
right
only.
now.
Yeah.
But could you do that? Like,
Yeah.
and that way you don't have the international
I
shipping
could,
costs.
but then international people, it's not their fault.
That's true.
But most of them, when I do one, they just go, well, when it costs as much, when the shipping is as much as the book itself, it kind of detracts from it. But that's
Yeah.
the shipping rates, because there's a UN treaty about this, which classes rich countries and poor countries. China is classed as a poor country right now. That's changing. That's why
Interesting.
they can ship 10 pounds worth of shit to America for $2, and it costs us $50 to send 10 pounds of stuff to China.
Wow.
There's literally a thing about it to try and equalize the world's shipping.
You strike me as a guy that watches
I
a
read
lot
up
of
on this.
documentaries.
No, I just got annoyed when the U.S. Postal Service changed its rules.
All
And
right.
said, we're sorry we have to do this. It's to do with fitting in with the international mandate bullshit.
Every time I have to ship gifts back home to my folks in England,
Yeah, well, there's a reason we pay more
costs more
to
yeah.
subsidize poorer countries.
That's so
So
weird.
they get a leg up.
Huh.
It's weird, because we're...
What is
it
one
annoys,
thing?
I'm small business, so it annoys me. But
What is one thing about Ben Templesmith that no one knows, but they should know, and that you wish they knew, and that you wish they would ask you more about?
Oh, that destroys my answer. So.
Sorry.
Because there was all that buying children things like, yeah, well, I'm not a pedophile.
You already did the pedophile part. You got to
Yeah,
find
I'm
something
not
darker.
like, not
now.
actually.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
not.
like children. I don't even have children. So
They're not that tasty anyway. I mean,
no, I used to joke about eating them, but yeah, like cannibalistically,
yeah,
properly, decent,
with a
decent,
knife and
respectable ways,
and a napkin.
Not with my hands. That's disgusting.
Yeah, that's just rude.
I don't know. That I'm really into strategy games. Like
That's
I don't.
yes, good
my hobby's
segue.
my job now, so I don't have.
And your wife is really into Overwatch.
Yeah, my wife's into Overwatch, but I'm into strategy games.
She's
so.
aggressively into Overwatch, from what I'm told.
She used to be. She used to be very into Resident Evil and Silent
I
Hill.
meant more so that she screams at everyone she's playing with.
Oh yeah, she's
Aggressive.
abusive. Yes.
Right. Yeah, abusive.
I can't
Overwatch
be in the
player.
same room with her and doing anything
Right.
if she's playing the game, because it's just random shouting and swearing.
And you've actually invited us to play with her on the channel at some point if she's up for it.
Yeah, you should.
I would love to.
If you like sweary, aggressive women.
I mean,
She sounds like
That's
a small
your
boy, though.
oh, she does?
People always think she's a small young boy because her voice is rather deep
really?
for a lady. She's not like got the high mousy voice.
Okay. How old is she, if you don't mind me asking? I mean, is that allowed? Am I allowed to ask
32.
that? 32?
She's a grown up.
Okay, just making sure.
Again, I'm not a pedophile.
Okay. I don't know.
This is weird. Like this, that's you can edit it. That's all it's gonna say is I'm not a pedophile.
I would promise you I won't. It's going to
No,
be just
she's a grown
flat
up. I
like
married
this.
a grown up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah, she was of legal age
When
all
you
the
married her.
time. I promise.
It
yeah.
wasn't like a arranged marriage. Or
Yeah, I'm a little older than her, but like Jesus.
I don't know the
Christ.
customs of Australia, okay? I don't know how you guys do it.
Well, they're a little better than West Virginian.
I imagine so, yeah. So, okay. So,
They're a little. Oh, what's his name? The guy. I'm not the Alabama Senate guy. I have higher standards than that guy. What's his name?
oh, God.
Ted Moore or something?
Oh, I wish I could remember it. Was that the... It's like John Moore or something like that. Like
yeah, the guy that ran for Senate in Alabama. It's like, I did it the right way.
Yeah.
She was already legally old enough, and
Yeah.
before we even dated.
That was... Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
whole thing is kind of a mess.
Yeah.
What do you make of American politics? Do you mind me asking? Am I like...
It's fantastic.
I mean, it's a good show, but
Yeah, it's a good show. It's entertaining. It's like a traffic accident.
it's
the whole
not fun
thing.
when you're like here.
The ramifications are horrible.
Yeah.
I'd say they're as bad as British politics.
Yeah. Except in British politics, you're allowed to sort of
You
get
don't-
in a big room and yell at each other about it.
Yeah,
in American
like-
politics, I feel like it's all done behind closed doors.
Well, in this country,
you know?
the election system it's not very democratic, and neither is it in Britain. Because in Australia, you get to choose you nominate them in order of preference. So it's like, oh, I
Right.
like that guy the most, that guy the second most, the third. You might get your second choice. Your vote still counts if your main guy doesn't get in.
That's cool.
But I know in Britain, like a party can get like 40% of the vote, but they'll only get 30% of the seats. And
Right.
in America, it's first past the post, which means a guy with 20% of the vote can actually be the winner.
Yeah.
But that means 80% of people didn't want that guy.
Yeah.
Like Arnold Schwarzenegger in California. He
Yeah.
won with 30%.
Yeah, true.
So
that.
this country's crazy, but I love it.
Yeah.
It gave us Sarah Palin, and I didn't think it could get better than that. But worse than that, it gave us Donald Trump. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And it
I'm
keeps.
sorry if you like Donald, but he's a little crazy. Everyone else knows that, all right? Whether you agree or disagree with him, people think he's...
I mean, most of the people that agree with him still could agree that he's pretty crazy.
Well, the people that agree with him kind of
They like that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say they don't really know much, and they probably haven't traveled much in the rest of the world, because we are worldly people. We come from somewhere else, but we
That's
love
true.
America.
We
But we
did
know if
settle here, so we are. I mean, that says something. We came
Yeah.
all the way here. We stayed here.
Yeah.
You've been here how long now?
Something like 11 years, I think.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
However, one of us kept their accent, so I'm a little jealous of that.
Yeah, that's a psychological thing.
You keep telling me that.
I refuse to assimilate. Just my accent so that people can keep guessing. They think I'm English anyway.
Do they?
Yeah.
Has anyone ever said New Zealand?
A couple times.
I feel like New Zealand's the one you go to when someone says guess my accent, you assume it's, for me anyway, I assume it's not Australian because Australian is too easy, and then it must be New Zealand because it's kind of
Australia.
like the thing. But when I said that, you were like, yeah, bang on. And I was like,
I'm from the furthest place away in Australia, so I don't
you?
have the rivalry with New Zealand.
Ah,
It's
right.
not like Canada and America.
is it really like that bad, the rivalry?
Only maybe to the New Zealanders, maybe.
So they're like, you think
I don't
they're
know.
madder
Maybe.
about Australia than Australia is about them?
Yeah, because they're the smaller country.
That makes
The
sense.
same way Canadians probably be
The
offended
underdog.
if you said they sounded American, but I don't think Americans care if they sound
That's why
Canadian.
the Welsh and the Irish and the Scottish hate the English, because they're all smaller.
Yeah, and they've been beaten up for many years
That's true.
with a big brother.
That's true.
But I was asked, because a guy couldn't guess where I was from, here in Indianapolis, and I said, well, I'm from a country that natively speaks English, like it's my first language. He said, France? And I said, do you know what language they speak in France?
Oh, Indiana.
And he said, and I said, French? He didn't really know much, but he did like football.
Okay.
He liked football.
Football isn't
that's
soccer
really-
for the...
No, like American football.
Oh, American
Sorry,
football.
We're in
All right.
America, so American
All
football,
right.
not soccer.
I'll go with it. Not Aussie rules.
No,
not,
I
not
really
regular
didn't
football.
understand why he was here, but
Yeah.
he liked football. That's all I gathered from that conversation, and he didn't know what language French people spoke. And
I mean,
I'm not French, so...
If you need to learn two things about somebody quick, that's pretty good two things to learn.
Je suis Australien, je suis stupide.
I don't speak French.
It means I'm Australian, I'm stupid. That's all I remember in French. I love France, been there a lot.
I took like 3 years of French in school, and I can't remember shit. I never stuck, you know. But I love the French language because it is a language of love, and you know, it's. I think it sounds good.
Some parts.
So
I could waffle on about French.
no, it's okay. This has been wonderful, honestly, because I knew you are. I did not know you were going to be as much of a wild card of a conversationalist as you
I'm
were when I
abusive.
came over to you.
I'm
You're a
abusive.
little abusive, but you've been really nice to me this interview.
I do this
so
for a living.
far. We are
My
going to
job's
film.
to meet people and tell people things.
No, I love it. I love the fact that because you've been like, I feel like you've been kind of lonely here. Every time I've looked over, you've been working on a commission, or you've had
I'm
someone
getting
like
work done.
abusing you, their art, just like, hey, check out my stuff.
Well,
but
my-
like, no one's really come up to say, hey, how's your day?
Oh, some people have.
They
but
have.
my mistake was being
Except for the
invited.
French guy.
My mistake was being invited to a PopCon instead of a comic con.
That's true.
Because I'm a comic guy, and I haven't really had many comic people.
Yeah.
None of the comic people here have.
Right.
So that's fine by me because I got work to do. I'm doing all my work for the next convention.
Did you decide
which
if
is
you're going to
be a
go
busy
to your
show.
panel yet or not?
I don't know. It hasn't happened yet.
I love it.
My rule is if there's less than 3 people, I'm gonna go back.
Probably
so.
bounce.
But I have a flight to catch soon, so
And the next one is where?
I'll be at Heroes Con next week in Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go. Now, North Carolina, if you thought Indiana was weird.
No, I love North Carolina. The food's great.
Oh, is it?
They have it's one of the biggest comic shows every year.
Awesome.
Legitimate comics, no celebrities. No offense.
A lot of artists.
It's comic artists and people that like comic art, and they get us to draw a lot. So I'm doing that now.
Great. So, Ben.
I am actually popular to some people, I promise.
Oh, I know you are, and that's
Just
why I
not
came
here
to
right
talk
now.
to you. You're like, I saw your name on the bill, and I was like, I gotta go talk to Ben Templesmith. This dude
Sometimes
is
I get
fucking
lines,
awesome.
just not here.
I love the art because I love very much like dark art. I love Lovecraftian themes. I love tentacles and
Thank you.
all that kind of stuff, and I think you do that amazingly well.
That's what I do.
Do me a favor, plug away here at whatever you're doing now, whatever websites you have where people can get your clothing, your art,
I'm bad at
everything
that
in
shit.
camp.
Except to say I do a Patreon, if you know what that is. It's like it's essentially the fan club, and if you like my shit, it's called
Give
Patreon.
me money because I do stuff.
Patreon.com/Templesmith. It's hard to find otherwise. That's where I do all my comics. You get to see everything get made, and I offer special things and wax sealed packs and all sorts of fancy things. And
What's the
Yeah.
website? Is it just like Templesmith.com?
and I have a
or
web store
something?
where you can buy that called 78squid.inc.
Yeah.
Not .com, .inc.
.inc?
Yeah,
Because
you
of
can.
squids.
Ink actually exists, so .inc.
Why not? With a K or a C?
With a K, like
Just
squid
making
ink.
sure, because we're going to put it on the screen. So
Yeah,
I
not
wanna make
ink
sure
like
I
a
spell it
company,
right.
ink like a ink squid ink.
Yeah, because that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to me. It's been awesome. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That's Ben Templesmith. He's been an absolute star. And we hope to see you next time, man. And good luck with your con in North Carolina.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye.
Ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.